like we talked about the ease of doing business bit, but how would you rate Gangtok? Let's say we still stuck on Gangtok. How would you rate Gangtok as what kind of an environment does it offer to entrepreneurs? Like, and there's a host of things, right? It's about access, it's about spaces that you have, it's about finance, availability of finance and things like that. How would you rate Gangtok as? Is it a city welcoming of
investments or business ideas? I mean, personal brilliance aside, right? I mean, you could have gone anywhere and set up Echostream or Let's Local or Naresh's businesses, but do you think Gangtok played a role in, did it make it a better experience, or it did nothing to it?
I think it did. I think it did. Also, basically the whole thing of starting in a very familiar place, and I keep saying this, at different forums when in my own design community, when people start saying that, because design that is very centric towards the metros, Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, and all that. That's where you build a career. And so why did you go to a place where people don't even, or people understand design but have various different misinterpretations of design. So, but the idea of that, Gangtok being the place it is, I think for me the cost of being an entrepreneur in Gangtok was much lower than it would have been in other cities, for various reasons. The familiarity, etc. Rentals that I pay, etc. I hope my landlord is not listening to this, but there are these various factors, which affects the idea, the vision that you have. It's completely not sustainable. If I had done it in Bangalore, Bombay, I would have not done the projects that I was doing. I would have not really fought for the things that I'm doing right now. So Gangtok plays a very important role there. This whole, I've never used a visiting card in thing. Only after I crossed Rangpur I use visiting cards. So that actually, says a lot. That the whole word of mouth is saying that, okay, so long can you come in like 5 hours, or Pintso, can you come in like 2 hours, you're having something, So it's a nice, I like the vibe. I like this whole vibe of, Gangtok, and I don't know whether, we still in that whole transition or a transformation stage from a town to a city. It was a very funny thing, that Jaina thing that you're talking about, how they qualified Gangtok, by putting those traffic lights at 0 hospital, things like that, where we're moving at 10 kilometers per hour, and then no one honks, right? Yeah. But people are just understanding there's a thumb rule, cars going up, you give the pass, and cars going down, you wait. So they're very interesting, simple things that we have in Gangtok, and I feel that somewhere I think encourages a lot in terms of experience. There are issues, but by far I would have not chosen any other place to start entrepreneurship.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Something positive we talked about. Because when we are talking about, when you talk about whether Gangtok is welcoming, if you could also bring in, is Gangtok a place where you can attract talent? You are there, right? You are the idea guys. But how easy or difficult is it to convince talent to come and work for you? And it's not just the salary you pay, right? It's also the facilities that Gangtok has to offer. So touching on those as well.
I think that's interesting. We've had a fair number of really nice people come and work with us. They were based in places like Delhi, and they were happy to come and live here and work, in our parent company, which is our guest. And they were great because, like Agya mentioned, it was metropolitan enough, let's say, for somebody who coming from the city to come here and work, because it had the usual suspects of a bustling nightlife and decent internet connectivity and all of those things. So, in this geography, at least, definitely, Gangtok, nowhere else. Definitely, it is helpful that way. And even for like a hyperlocal business, let's say like Let's Local, or any one of these delivery guys, right? You look at the Cheetos and the Metos of today, the community is very supportive, I think. I think that's something that is not available. Let's say if you were to set shop in Bangalore, you would not get the support that these hyperlocal companies get. Because, it doesn't sound great, but they say, oh, bichara, bichara, usle yesto gareko rahecha, so try to kindium na,
I think the government could really step in is just the basic urban planning and making things certain things are much better than the other. I mean, just go out of Rangfu and see our neighboring towns and cities. I think certain things like Biton Hong, it's much cleaner, public spaces. But there's a lot to be done. But I think that's where the municipality has to come in. You know, if they don't come in and just little things like even road signs. You know, if somebody just wants to walk it, a tourist wants to walk in from Siche to Mjima, he has no idea where he's going. And it's something.
Yeah.
And earlier we did approach the government through Hotel Association, through Rotary Club, and said we'll do the signs. But you know, the amount of paperwork they have is like you said. Why break your head? Why do that? I mean, tomorrow, if I think there are enough entrepreneur associations, businesses willing to just support the municipal corporation in just making your town a little better. That is.
Yeah. I mean, completely. And yes, I mean, thanks for kind of shedding so much light on it, on these issues. We did not think that we'd get all these insights into the GMC, which was wonderful, because what is obvious is that Gangtok has it, right? It has the right environment, it has the right entrepreneurs, clearly. All that needs to change is probably the attitude of not just of how the administrators and the business communities, the representatives look at entrepreneurs and engaging with them. So I hope they listened to what you have to say, and I hope it figures in the new GMC's plan of action. And on that note, thanks a lot for being here.
Thanks.
This was fun.
Thank you.